Hello and welcome to another Tuesday night Pell session. Tonight we're going to be looking at bringing shields into our Pell work. Up until this video we've been mainly talking about hitting the Pell with the sword, and while we have talked to some degree about where we're actually going to put a shield, to be careful of the shield and so forth, we haven't actually brought our shield into the whole Pell drilling as an active component within our Pell session. So tonight we're going to be looking at how to bring that shield in and what to think about when we're positioning our shield. The first thing to really talk about is the fact that your shield's position and its motion while doing Pell work is just as important as your sword. Too many times I've seen people stand up against a Pell, form up into a good position, and then start throwing shots, and their shield is just waving around as it wants to do as their body is moving, and not keeping a good protection against them. Because while they are holding that shield and while they have actually got that shield up and using the muscles to keep it there, they're not thinking about where their shield is going at all. So tonight what we're going to do is, while we throw a couple of shots, we're not going to pay attention to the actual shot as such. We're going to be instead paying attention to our shield. What I mean by that is, here is my standard guard that I will go into during a fight. The shield is fairly pointed towards my opponent, so any shot coming straight down will get taken down my arm, thereby reducing the stress on myself and stop the shield moving around too much. It's slightly across my body so that any body shots that somebody wants to throw has to come across, and I'm intercepting that throw zone by pushing the shield out a little bit. So you can see my shield is actually quite far extended. Likewise, shots towards my leg, I can drop it a little bit, but my leg is fairly much under a good shadow of the shield to protect it. So from a good starting position, if I was to then throw a shot, you can see that shield doesn't actually move from that position for my snap. Even if I throw a leg shot, likewise again, it doesn't move. It's staying nicely on line, in position, keeping my guard up and keeping me protected. The first bunch of drills that I'd like you guys to do is to actually keep that shield either in line at your starting position, or for example, if I'm going to throw an offside shot to there, I will actually tuck that shield slightly back to allow that throw to come through that zone, and thereby not interfere and foul with my own shot. But I'm not moving that shield around. I'm not allowing that shield to come back. I'm not opening that shield up. I'm keeping it nicely locked in position. And for the first set, that's what I would like to see you do, is just keeping that shield on guard and in the correct zone, in the correct defensive position, and not letting it move out depending on where you're throwing. Even if you're going for down along for one of those kind of leg shots, we still want that shield to stay on guard. We don't want it to open up. Once you've had a bit of go at that, the next step to do is to actually start purposefully moving your shield to a different position based upon where you're throwing. And what I'm talking about here, and a drill that is quite classic in Lockhart, Sir Gabriel has talked about it a lot, is what you do is you face up, you keep that shield stationary, you throw a shot, and then you look at yourself in the mirror with that shield there and think, where would I throw against myself if I was the opponent having just received that snap? And from that, you determine where that shield should move to. For example, if I'm throwing a leg shot, I actually don't keep my shield here and myself up straight like so. I'll actually tuck my head under that shield slightly to throw that leg shot, because I know that this head up here is the hardest thing for me to defend, seeing as I can't sword block it and such, that I will actually throw my leg shot like this. This is a very different shot compared to just letting that shield move out or go wherever it wants. It's a very purposeful shot. That shield is purposefully moving to cover the head as I throw that shot down towards the leg. Likewise, if I'm throwing an offside head, I will actually roll that shield further across here so that if someone is going for a snap, I can lift that shield and block that side of my head while the sword is on the opposite side of my body. These motions are very purposeful. They are getting that shield into these positions, and there's something that needs to be drilled in just as much as the sword work. So, while I would be doing my actual normal Pell motions, I will also be practicing those shield positions to protect myself in the various positions as I go through and throw. I've been doing this long enough that I know my set positions. I don't need to look in a mirror so much to figure them out. And they are just little situations where if I throw a wrap, for example, I punch that shield out to help protect my arm and close it a little bit, because I know an arm sticking out like this, if I've got my shield like that, will be a very nice target for somebody else. So I will actually punch that shield out. So that's what we're looking to do this week. Basically, think about where we're throwing to and how, first of all, we have to move to keep that shield stationary and in our default protection. And then secondly, where we actually want to move it to give us ideal protection for certain shots and certain maneuvers that a shield just floating around in space without us thinking about it will not give us. All right, have a go with that. It's a little bit more thinking about what you're doing and a little bit more looking at it in a mirror. Can be quite difficult to do at the very start, but it is certainly something that you'll get a lot of benefit out of. I will catch you next week, so have a good one.